Turbo time.
We'll be.
Yeah, it's a hemi. It's a hemispherical engine. Hemi, I don't know what that means. Got rid of the X.
Oh, it's like a G body. This is it's on the G body frame.
Early
G body.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
They're
We're taking a visit to my buddy's shop, Kent Brosseau. He's been my friend for a long time, and we'll do some projects together. Actually coming here to visit to talk about a LS twin turbo project we're getting ready to start on. So I'm gonna head in and say hello. Hey, Meow.
Hey, what's up, Meow?
I'm filming video for my... Oh, hi.
She acts like she's never seen you before.
First time?
Yeah.
So, filming a video for my YouTube channel.
Yeah?
And just wonder if you give me a tour around the shop. Tell me what's going on and...
Yeah, where do you want to start? I don't think you care about all the toolboxes and stuff so much, but...
I mean, there's a few of them. Just, there's like maybe one or two screws or things in there.
Oh, you want to see those? Yeah.
So this place isn't very well organized, is what you're telling me?
No, not really. It's it kind of just it kind of makes it easy when you do what we do. When you're assembling these and you run over to here and it's just like, I need this screw, and then bam.
It just falls into your hand.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And this is mostly all stainless stuff, but we cover all the fine threads, all the weird Chevy door bolts and stuff that they're hard to get over. We
sure.
Just stock them.
So I'm looking around here, and this looks kind of like mostly an import shop.
Yeah,
and you guys do a lot of
all Asian, mostly.
Okay.
Well, the Asians are buying them up.
Right.
I mean, it's just a matter of time before that Cadillac ends up in Japan.
Right.
Let's be real.
Sure.
So that's what's happening there.
So I know, but maybe other people don't. This is your shop truck. Now, tell me what it is and what engine it is, and show me around a little bit.
So this is a 36 Ford. This came from my deceased friend. He built hot rod frames, chassis. Fuzzy was his name.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Fuzzy.
Yep.
So when he passed, his sons had to liquidate everything, clean up the estate, and I was stupid enough to say yes, I would take this and carry on with this dream in somewhat of the fuzzy fashion that we've been calling it. So
sure.
We kind of are going with what he would have done, but with
a little bit of your flavor.
Yeah, I couldn't go full on.
Sure.
Because he would have put a Ford engine in it, and that's just, come on, really. So I happen to have an engine that came from a warehouse. We bought a warehouse in Portland, and a storage warehouse, and we bought everything was in it. The guy defaulted.
Sure.
And this happened to be in, it wasn't built like this, of course. It was a core motor. So it's a 54 DeSoto, and it was crated up. Cool little engine. And then I just put it off to the side for several years, long before I got this truck.
And what makes this important? I mean, I know what's important, but it's, what do they call it? Hemi?
Yeah, it's a hemi. It's a hemispherical engine. Hemi, I don't know what that means. So it's a 54 DeSoto Hemi. It started life as a 276. And then I found some speed parts. These are vintage speed parts. This is an old Wien intake. These are really OG Stromberg carburetors that a guy in Utah rebuilt, Max Musgrove, he's a genius. You can't call him on this phone because his hearing shot from being in the Air Force.
What?
You can't call him on the phone from being on the what? So he only works by email. So he rebuilt these. They're absolutely beautiful. These we machined because my machinist is snobby about having spacers and going for horsepower. Then we did a whole bunch of custom plumbing to make it all come together because this intake. Anyway,
And then all the AN fittings and stuff like that.
AN fittings. These are all originally all these cooling systems. The cooling systems on early Hemis were weird, and to help keep them cool, you got to get this water out of the back as well as just the front. So you have to keep all of them in place. We're still running a stock style distributor, but with Pertronics in it now. You know, sent the water pump out to get a rebuild. It's not a cheap proposition.
And so
Put the generator on it. It looked well. I wanted the feel of a generator because everybody always just buys a kit and puts an alternator on there. I got a generator case with an alternator inside of it.
right, because
Because it's cool.
yeah.
We could go to the other side and look at that.
And so obviously, you know, this being the first time, well, not the first time I've seen
This
it, but
isn't my first time.
first time being on the channel, so to speak, is that this car or this vehicle truck has already been painted. And so tell me about the process of what you do versus what maybe some other people do to get to this point, because this is what we call final assembly, right?
Yeah. They hack and I don't.
Right, yeah, that's clear.
Yeah.
So this was put together how many times so far? It's already been fully put together one time.
About probably three.
3 times?
If you would say in and out, you know. So
Because you had a core motor in here before to build around, right?
yeah, so we had a Hemi core motor, and we start off with that. We have a core turbo 350, which is running. We used that rear end because I'll show you, that's a quick change. So we built the whole chassis with the body, just a raw steel body on there. And everything gets pre-built, so everything gets figured out ahead of time. So fuel lines, brake lines, tranny cooler, everything, all the plumbing, all the wiring, everything gets done ahead of time. And then we tear it apart and we do the body and paint work. But even, so then we do the body work, we put the body back on the frame, bolt it down, fit the doors again. And that happens more than once. So
Right.
this thing's probably been assembled 3 or 4 times. But this last assembly is like butter. It just
And
falls
so,
together.
you know, I know this, but what, so when you say shop truck, this is just kind of going to have the name of the business on the side, or just because that's the name that you came up with, or?
Well, it was going to be
Or this is your own, it was
going to be fuzzy shop truck, and we said it was an excuse for me to spend money that I didn't need to spend, I guess, and we're going to build a shop truck.
Sure.
It's not. It's a $100,000 shop truck that I'll never see anything hauled in the bed. You could see some of the details here. You know, we chopped it 2 5/8 inches. We left the back window full height so it doesn't look chopped, because a lot of the guys go to a mail slot back window.
Then you can't see out of it, right?
Exactly. Then it looks chopped. This, people look at it and go,
Is it chopped?
yeah. It
So
just
what
looks
your
better.
what your style is, and it's similar to mine, is it's more about the subtleties and like, is that the way you think it is, or is
Right,
it like?
yeah. Here's another example: the drip rails. Drip rails from the factory, kind of hideous. Typically, everybody just shaves a drip rail off. So what we did is we got rid of the factory drip rail, welded it up, installed some 1/4 inch cold rolled steel, and then welded that in, and then I let it in the seams, or let it in that area, and say I tapered them off. So at a quick glance, it looks like a set of factory drip rails, even though it's
Not
20 hours from not being a set of factory drip rails.
20
Just to
hours.
have
each side, yeah.
yeah. So that's the kind of stuff. Even though we left a lot of the original seams. Some guys go to the extreme and lead those up. You know, I left that because that's the way it was from the factory. The factory had that there, and this was closed because they led these panels together when they put the original roof on. I left that.
Right.
So it's still,
And that's all part of the chop. What some people don't
Yes.
know is that, I mean, this looks, you know, if you can see it now, you'd never know that anything happened. And so
Right.
that's where that subtle details, and it's not like a wild paint. It's not going to be flamed or anything like that.
No,
It's
this
just
is
gonna
it.
look-
I'm a big fan of the vintage colors. They're timeless. You know, back in the day when they were painting Hawaiian Orchid or that teal, that hideous teal in the 90s, I painted 15 cars that color, and I could tell you what year it was painted by the color on them.
Sure.
Whereas I'm a fan of.
What's the paint code?
Oh, no, I don't remember now. 051 or one of them. Anyway, so we're a fan of keeping these colors.
Now,
a lot of that came from doing vintage VWs, by the way, because their great color palette they had that was subtle and timeless. So you see this truck for the next 20 years, you'll never know when it was painted because of the color.
Right.
And it'll always be. I always tell people it's always going to be relevant.
Right. It's always going to be timeless because it's a not. And what's funny about that is that these modern colors have sort of come back.
Yeah.
Like all the new
Toyota trucks.
Yeah.
They're using the sand. They're using this on a Toyota truck ish.
Yeah.
Obviously I didn't run off of any factory color code because I don't. We always mix our own colors. But.
Sure.
And you can see some of the subtle stuff we did here. So that's no longer a factory cluster that would have had the 3-gauge style in there, and I kept that. But we got some classic instruments, and then we had bezels machined to sink them in so they're flush mount. Because normally people drill a hole and just that gauge sits out here. Well, these sit inside the dash, so it's flush right there.
Wow.
And then I didn't want to put all 5 gauges. I wanted 5 gauges, didn't want to put them in there, didn't want the huge cluster, so I put 2 more up above. That's fuel and voltage up there, and the important ones are down below, the speedo, the tack, the oil, and the water.
Right.
So when you look in the window, all you'll see is those.
Right. What transmission is it?
That's a Turbo 350.
Okay. Is the back is the can we still see the frame or?
Yeah, you can still see the frame here. The wood's out getting redone. They're doing zebra wood right now.
Okay, that this is so this is what we call a quick change rear end.
That's a quick change, yeah, from the old midget racing days. Really is where that started out with, because it's a quick change to change gears.
Right.
So it's a 20-minute process.
And so how much of this stuff how much of the stuff on the frame did you guys make or fabricate?
Yeah.
All of it.
We started off with the stock frame. So this was a stock 37 truck frame. And then we boxed. The guys got awful quiet back there. Are you guys playing on your tones? We boxed it. We changed out cross members. A lot of cross member work, a lot of boxing,
right?
A lot of changing. Get rid of the X because originally it was an X frame. Get rid of the X.
Oh, it was like a G body. It's on a G body frame.
Early
G body. Oh, okay.
They're perimeter frames that a G broke. But then everything underneath is updated. So the fuel system.
All your lines you bent all those.
We bend everything here. So we make all this. All the wiring's ours. Everything we build here, the exhaust system, that's all stainless, heat wrapped back here.
And I see it. It's honestly, I mean, it's a shame, and I don't mean this in a bad term. Like, I feel like the raw chassis, you could really see what all the work that into it. Once you paint it black, I mean, you probably have over 100 hours into the chassis, at least just the frame.
More than that.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we went to the details of stock-ish taillights. That's all. This stainless we bent and built here, and I still left it kind of raw. I got to do a little bit of polishing, but not a lot. I don't want it to be too shiny.
Right.
So these are early Ford taillights, but with stainless brackets we made. Nothing like how they would have been from the factory. This piece isn't factory. We added that on because it would have just had a bumper here. Same with up here. We built this piece. Factory would have just had a little piece here. We extended it back to hide behind the tire, so it kind of matches front and rear here.
So no fenders on this truck, right?
Right, a fenderless. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna party.
Even in the front?
Yeah, no fenders.
Cool.
Doors.
Fenders.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it some doors.
Seats? Is it gonna have seats?
Yeah, I'll have one.
One.
Bench.
Bench.
So that's kind of the scoop on that one.
So let's do a quick walk around and show me a couple of other things you got going on here.
67 Ford, that is getting...
So this is actually the reason why I'm here, is to come and we're consultating on consultating, is that a word?
If you want to use it, that'd be a consultation if you did, but it's really consulting.
Yeah. So I'm consulting on this. We're going to go ahead and twin turbo this deal. Right now it has a LS1 in it. and we're not sure what the horsepower level that the customer wants, but we're going to find that out, and pretty soon it's going to have a turbo here and a turbo here. So right now it just has it's a Sniper EFI on it, right?
Yeah, Sniper EFI. Nothing fancy. It has an old 3-speed behind it now, which we're changing to a built 4L80E because of the turbo upgrades.
Be back here later for some more work on this Ford pickup. It's going to be twin turbo time on a Ford with an LS in it. So it's a new kind of deal for me. I mean, I'm new to the tuning game and turbos and stuff like that, but the quality of the stuff that comes out of this shop is second to none. So I'm honored to be able to be a part of it, and excited to work together on something new, learning for me. We're going to switch from the Sniper EFI to a multi-port EFI setup, twin turbo, and it's going to be a good time. So we'll check you later.